In this tutorial, I'm going to be teaching you generic types. So for example, let's say we want to create a list of type string. We have just used a generic type here. Normally, generic types can be used to reduce code duplication. Now, I can create a list of type string or even a list of type int, depending on what I desire. I can create a list of type double or type whatever. So there isn't a fixed type on the list I want to create. But after creating the list, I can't add a string to the list because I've created it a type int now. So I could add 7, which is an integer, but I couldn't add 7, the string. If I decide to change that type to string, it will highlight the integer and accept the string. So depending on what you create the list with, that will determine what you can add to the list. But in the creation of the list, you can determine what type it will be. So to understand how generic types work, let's give an example. So let's say there's a bank. Now, this is bank A. Now, bank A has or performs transactions. You can deposit and you can withdraw. Let's also create another bank. Bank B. Now, bank B also withdraws and deposits. But we need an abstract class that will define the operations that these banks are going to perform. Remember abstract classes that I taught earlier. So this abstract class will have 3 methods. So the first method is going to return a string, and it's going to take a string. So the string is taken is the amount. Also, the second method is withdraw, which also returns a string and takes a string. And the third method is when you want to kind of do a mass operation, a mass transaction, and it takes in a list of string of account numbers. So now these are the 3 operations that will determine, let's say this is the central bank and like the governing body, which determines what these banks can do. So both bank A and bank B would implement these methods similar to cars. Now cars are different, but they have similar designs. Like each car should have a way to start, right? Each car should have a brake, but they could do it differently. You won't buy a car that doesn't have a brake, would you? So now bank A implements deposits, takes a string and returns deposited. It also takes the mass transaction, and I'm not really doing anything serious here. I'm just returning simple text. So we're done with bank A. So we go to bank B and implement transaction as well. So like we implement the methods there. So we can copy it, paste it. Now, what happens when bank B says, hey, we don't want to be returning a string, we actually want to return an integer? And so they decide that they want their own return type. They don't want to change the whole structure. Of course, they still want to deposit, withdraw, and do mass transaction, but they want integers instead of strings. So without generic classes, we would have to create another abstract class. But let's do that now. So we'll create another abstract class. We'll call it number transaction, just a random name for this tutorial. So the number transaction is the structure is the same as the former abstract class, but the difference is that it's going to be dealing with integers. So bank B will extend it and implement the methods. So we change this to int and int, and so that the second bank will only be dealing with integers. So we'll go over to bank B. We can clear the implementation and instead extend number transaction. So we implement the methods. Now, as you can see, that has been done, but there's an issue here. What if there's another bank, bank C, that wants to be dealing with doubles or floating point numbers? Does it mean we keep creating abstract classes again and again? By the time we have different classes, we begin to deal with a lot of code, and that can make your code a little bit bulky. You can sort that out by using generic classes. Generic classes help you reduce boilerplate code. So now, let's create a generic class that will be able to adapt to whether the person wants an integer or a string, very similar to how we create our list. Because when you're creating a list, you just state whether you want a string or an integer. So we'll name this central transaction. So this is just the central transaction. It's still an abstract class like the rest. We'll rename it, let's make it main transaction. And you have that type T, which represents any type. And it mustn't be T. Sometimes you can see T, E, S, K, those letters, but they represent whatever type of whatever type you want to use in creating the instantiating the class. So here I'm allowed to use string or integer. Therefore, I do not need to have those two classes we created earlier. So now bank B can extend main transaction and make it a type int. We implement it and voila. You can now determine what type you want. We would also go back to bank A and replace it with main transaction. So that works also. So now I've reduced the boilerplate code. I've reduced the amount of code we need in making the banks operate. By using one generic class, we can easily delete the other two abstract classes we created earlier. Imagine if we had a lot of different abstract classes for types, for string, for integer, for double, for floating. Now that would be a lot. But now we just need one, and we determine what type, the way we create our list, what type we want. So this is main transaction of type string, and that's it. Voila. So we can go ahead and delete those two abstract classes because we don't need them again. Yep, so clear that also. So now we have bank A and bank B and our main transaction. So whether deposit or withdraw or match transaction, you determine your type when extending the main transaction. So we can all go back to main class and we create new objects, and we could withdraw using the string or using the integer. Bank A used string, bank B used integer, and it works fine, seamlessly. And you have your basic structure preserved. So you can have one structure, abstract class, that determines how the banks operate, but the banks can determine what type it deals with. Now, this is a very simple example, but you get the idea of what abstract classes do. You can go and read more about using generic types in interfaces and abstract classes.